Okay, so today we're going to talk about castling. Now, you want to be able to have your king under protection. And so one of the ways you can provide protection is by castling. Normally, you would have some pawns in the front on either side to castle. And there's two directions that the king can castle. If this rook has not moved, if he's castling to the king's side, the king is not moved yet, or this rook is not moved if he's going to castle to the queen's side. How is this done? First, you got to make sure that when you castle that you lift your king first. The king is going to move. If we're going to castle to the king's side, it's going to move 2, and then we're going to move the rook next to it on the f8 rank. Okay, so that's castling to the king's side. Let's see how it would work to the queen's side. So the king again is going to move 2, and the rook would move alongside it. So the king moves in that direction. The same principle would hold true if white wanted to castle. Now let's see some examples of what would not be permitted. So there are some instances where you're not going to be able to castle, and let's go over some of those. All right, how about we set up these pieces here. We have some rooks. We have the queen, and we have, say, a bishop here. Now, first off, let's pretend these are not here. Now, the king has just been placed in check. Now, the king cannot castle out of check into... so if he's in check, he can't castle out of it. So that's one thing. And 2, he can't castle through check. So if the bishop controls the bishop's which on black square, the king cannot castle through check because this again is being threatened by the bishop here. So that's an illustration. If it was placed on the black square, he would not be permitted to castle there. Now let's just pretend we don't have any white pieces over here. I could still, as long as he's not currently under check and won't cross through check, I can still move and castle to the queen's side, as long as, again, neither the rook nor the king has moved, made an initial move. Now look at this instance. What if he wanted to castle? Let's take this one off the board. What if the king wanted to castle? Could he castle through the check that would be placed as he was crossing through? No. Could he castle and wind up on this square here? No, because he would be in check. So he can't do anything like that. What if these were gone, and instead you just have this lonely queen here that's threatening the rook? Now, is the queen putting the king in check right now? No. As the king is traveling those 2 spaces, will the queen be threatening either of those 2 squares directly? No. So even though the queen is threatening the rook, she's not going to be putting the king in check at any point, and so this would be perfectly fine. And that's castling.